Episode 320, The Gangsters. Alex had only one thought going through his head. Debbie can't die. If she died, his world would collapse. Therefore, he conveyed his internal power to Debbie without hesitation. In essence, he was giving his life to her. With the input of Alex's internal power, Debbie's face gradually gained some color, and she started to look healthier. But he knew that it was only a temporary cure. To cure her permanently, they had to find a way to detoxify her body completely. Mr. Alex, it's worked. Debbie's breathing is already stabilized, Celeste said happily. But Alex was exhausted. He couldn't physically continue transferring his internal power to her. As he slowly lowered his hand, his body was so weak that he collapsed. Fortunately, Luna was supporting him, or he would have fallen to the ground. Mr. Alex, you must lie down and have a rest. Celeste helped Alex onto the bed next to Debbie so that they could lie together. He relaxed a little when he saw how much better Debbie looked. He had just used so much physical strength that he quickly fell into a deep sleep. Celeste received a call from the Moon Palace. Celeste, will you be here soon? The gang leader said that they're not afraid of the new lord. They also said that he'll get here just in time for them to capture him and make him their servant. What? These scumbags certainly think a lot of themselves. Don't fight with them. Just keep them safe, and when we get there with the new lord, we'll deal with them together, Celeste said angrily. Yes, but there are more and more of them. I'm worried that they'll take control of the palace before you arrive. Just keep everyone safe. We'll be there soon and then they'll all die, Celeste ordered. She turned to the others in the RV and told them, the situation at the Moon Palace is very dangerous. Will Mr. Alex be able to help us? Celine asked. Celeste didn't answer. She glanced at Alex and thought, he's just used so much of his strength. Will he even have enough energy to help us fight the gangs and save the Moon Palace? Callisto continued to drive as fast as she could toward the Moon Palace. There were almost no other vehicles on the road, and it was slowly getting dark. As the temperature dropped a few degrees, the tops of the peaks gradually became white with fresh snow. After several hours, Callisto parked the RV in a lane. Light snow and a gentle breeze surrounded her as she stepped down from the driver's seat. Mr. Alex, Luna gently patted Alex's face, and he slowly woke up. Are we here? He asked. Well, we still have a long way to go to get to the Moon Palace, but we can't drive the rest of the way in the RV, Celeste replied. She looked at him and asked with concern, do you have the strength to walk there? Yes, let's go. Alex stood up. Although his body was weak, his will was strong. His deep sleep had helped him recover a little of his strength. He needed to get to the Moon Palace. He picked up Debbie and turned to carry her out of the RV. Mr. Alex, hang on. Put this warm coat on Debbie, Celeste said as she handed him a padded coat. It's very cold in the mountains. We'll warm up as we walk, but Debbie won't be moving, and we don't want her to get cold. Put this on her. Alex put the padded coat on Debbie, picked her up, wrapped in a sleeping bag, and carried her out of the RV. The temperature outside was very cold. Alex guessed it was at least -5 degrees when he noticed that he could see his breath in the air when he spoke. Mr. Alex, the four of us could carry Debbie for you, Celeste suggested. As usual, They wanted to help him and share his burdens. Alex ignored Celeste's offer and said, "Let's go, come on. We need to hurry to get to the Moon Palace." "Yes, of course." Celeste and Celine led the way, while Callisto and Luna walked in the back behind Alex. In the moonlight, with a light covering of snow over the ground, the air felt crisp and clear. The five of them walked quickly and didn't feel too cold. After walking for more than an hour, they saw a bright light in the distance. Celeste pointed at the light and said, "Mr. Alex, that's the Moon Palace." "Well, let's go." As they got closer, they started finding bodies on the ground. The bodies were both gang members and girls from the Moon Society. The four Moon girls became understandably agitated. They wanted to rush to the palace immediately to kill the gangsters. When they were only a few hundred yards from the palace, they saw a group of people standing in front of the gate. It was the gang members, and there were several thousand of them. Then they noticed that the gangsters were surrounding several hundred women from the Moon cult. One of the members of the cult said to one of the gang leaders, "Blaze Quinn, I have warned you that the Lord of the Moon Palace is on his way back. Do you dare to invade the palace and risk his retribution? Can you imagine how severe your punishment will be?" Her name was Phoebe Ackers, and she had been left in charge temporarily when the four girls left the palace. A fierce-looking middle-aged man standing in front of her said patronizingly, "Phoebe, yes, you said that a few hours ago, and I've already given you my answer. Since you seem to have a bad memory, I'll answer you again." He was Blaze Quinn, and he was the leader of Blood Sacrifice, the largest of the three invading gangs. He was known to be ruthless and powerful. He looked at Phoebe and said calmly, "Until now, we've all respected your group and left you in peace. But I've never felt comfortable with that situation. Their last master was extremely powerful, however, and we knew that we couldn't invade successfully while she was here. But we never stopped watching and biding our time. As soon as I was convinced that she was no longer here, I secretly contacted some of the other gangs, suggesting that we unite to invade the Moon Palace. I didn't expect such an enthusiastic response from the other gangs. But it turned out that the leaders of Ice Edge and Falling Souls were feeling the same. So we met and plotted our attack. You know that you're outnumbered and defeated. No matter how good your martial arts warriors are, you cannot beat thousands of gang fighters." Then, he looked at the other gang leaders and asked, "Do you agree?" In unison, the other leaders responded, "Yes." "If your old lord comes back, we'll kill her," added one of them. "She blinded me in one eye. If she dares to come today, I'll enjoy getting my revenge," said the other. "We've already taken the palace. Now surrender," ordered Blaze. "You're delusional. The new lord's martial arts are so powerful that you would be no match for him, even if you had 10 times your fighters," Phoebe announced. She tried to sound more confident, and she really felt. "Little girl, stop trying to intimidate us with your threats. I advise you to put down your weapons immediately and welcome us to the Moon Palace. We might let you girls stay and entertain my men for a while before you leave," said a short, fat man. His name was Falcon Truman, and he was the leader of the Falling Souls gang. On hearing what he said, all the gang members roared with laughter. "Yes, if you please us tonight, we'll let you go tomorrow," yelled another gang leader. "I heard that the beds in the Moon Palace are huge and luxurious," another man said excitedly. but there are only around 700 women in the Moon Palace, and there are thousands of us. We're going to have to share. 3 or 4 men each girl, but that's okay," said another gangster. "The women at the Moon Palace are all beautiful and supple. It's going to be awesome," said another.